Good evening, everybody. Good evening, good evening. It's been a while since we did a YouTube video together. Sit back, enjoy the show. I'm going to take y'all on a ride to Skinwalker, demons and evil ones of Navajo culture. I had a coworker ask me about that, so this is for you, buddy.
When you have prayers, you can have those songs. You can have those protection songs and protection prayers and protection way. And sometimes people may wear the jewelry that protects them. And they also can have herbs, or they might have tutadine, or inside of their corn pollen pouch, they might carry certain things that are there to protect them from the evil one. Is what we are told, that he does not take any sides as far as to say that he never will take the good side. He will always pick the evil side and try to influence us. And so there are many things in that are very dangerous to us. Things are invented for good purposes, and they will pervert those good purposes and make them useful for evil intent. There's a lot of technology today that's available to our young people, and some of that is not very good at all. It will control everything that they do and what they think and what they say, and even the clothes they wear, the food they eat, and the things that they will watch as far as in their environment. And that's how much power the evil one has. Is that what we are told, and that means that he has great influence and great powers, and we think that they are normal, but they are not. And so there's such things as infatuation with aliens, infatuation with Bigfoot. These things are all distractions, and people think that sometimes they are cute cartoon characters and cartoon things, but it is that they are actually real, but they are made real by the power of the evil one and the influence that he has, and the way that the demons are able to carry these distractions out. And it's very powerful and it's very real. And I don't like to give any more credit to it than that, but just be aware. And that's what they tell us in the traditional way. Observe and watch and learn. And then when you learn it, then you understand it and you learn how to avoid it. And be sure and be able to have your own protection song, your own protection prayer, and carry things that on you that remind you that you are the child of holy people and that they will protect you. And if you depend on them. And those are the things that we are told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.
Here's another one, too, just to give y'all a little more insight.
Hi, we're visible.
Now,
We're the wireless company.
let me make this perfectly clear. Do not go looking for these creatures.
We don't have annual
Don't go looking for the Navajo legend creatures, like we said. Don't go looking for legendary creatures.
Get unlimited 5G data power.
Because if you start going looking for them,
one of the most feared creatures in all of folklore, but they are seriously misunderstood.
you do not
spend a lot of
need.
time looking at creepy things on the internet that I
Skinwalker
guarantee
means Winnedoshi, meaning the one who gave up their humanity.
You might have read creepypastas where people encountered them in the woods and barely escaped with their lives, or seen shaky, pixelated footage of Skinwalker sightings. But these representations of the
There's another one I'm about to show y'all. There's another guy here. He dives into it. He tells you what to do to protect yourself from them.
Some people have commented they want to hear a couple more Yanagloshi stories that I have. I will tell you this first story is going to be my first mission I ever had with the Guardian.
He's a full-blooded Navajo Indian. I watch him to understand about the Navajo culture as well.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Shankland Shadow Productions. You guys have asked, and you shall receive. You wanted some more Skinwalker Yanagloshi stories, and I'm here to give it to you. It's kind of a tough subject to talk about because you're not really supposed to talk about Skinwalkers and Yanagloshis, but I'm here to give you guys the truth. I'm here to give you guys the knowledge that I know. So this first story I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be taking you back 12 years ago. This is my very first mission I went on with my brother Hero and my uncle Naurion to be able to kind of do a scouting recon mission over in Tuanjona. And that's where we're originally from and where the Guardians train. So over there, we were visiting one of our relatives at their Hogan, and we were driving back and we noticed something that was kind of off with the whole area and the land. So when we were driving down the dirt road, a lot of times the old people used to build their fences with tree trunks, tree branches, and they would line barbed wire around it to be able to put a barrier around their crops or their cattle or their sheep to be able to make sure they don't wander off or animals get into their crops. So there was an old, over there specifically, it was used for farming. So there's a plot of land that was used for farming a long time ago from our ancestors. And on one of the posts, there was a can on top of the branch. Now, we've gone up and down that road so many times, and we've always kind of just seen it, but then that can was never there.
That's the way you tell the Navajo or when you go see the Indian, they always be markers in the new territory they've taken over.
Just like, hey, let's pull off, let's go check out what this is real quick. So, me being 15 years old, I was kind of nervous to be able to see, what's going on. This is my first mission. My brother has trained me, he's kind of taught me and told me stories about the Yanagloshis itself, and this is broad daylight. So, we walked across, as I would have to say, like a couple 100 yards away from the road, and we make it to that post where the can is. We take off the can and we kind of look around because that can was put there for a reason, whether it be for attention for us, whether the spirits put it there to let us know that, hey, there's something over here, or it's used for the Yanagloshis in the local area to say, hey, this is a marker right here. If you need to hide out, this is where you need to go. They kind of use that. They would put cans on, shrub bushes or other types of different markings. Now you would just normally say, oh, that's just trash. But, they've come to use it as like, oh, something you would shrug off is actually, it has meaning to some of these beings. Now, when we looked around that post right there, we kind of went about, like I would say, like 100, 200 feet radius around it. My brother pointed out something. He said, hey, guys, come over here. Come look at this. So I came over there, and this is kind of where it scared me. I looked on the ground, and there was a hole that was in the ground. I would have to say it was around 7 feet in diameter. Went down, I would say 8 or 9 feet into the ground. And I was just like, what the heck is this? And he said, this is a Yanagloshi hole. So Yanagloshi holes and tunnels are something they use to be able to traverse the land while being unseen. Sometimes to get into homesteads, they would carve out and dig these tunnels maybe straight up to your floorboards, or even some way to sneak by without anybody noticing. So in those stories, the holes when they're active, they're only about like that big. So when the Yanagloshi were to come up to one of these entrances, he would sing a song, say a phrase, or give an offering of something, of flesh, of something death, maybe a little bone, or some form of verification to be able to grant access into the tunnels like this. Kind of like a ID card or something like that, but they don't use those things. So then the hole would open up, and they would just hop in there. Then when they get in there, the hole will kind of close up. So when you're inside these tunnels, is a lot bigger than what it actually seems on the inside. And a lot of times, the Yanagloshis would use these tunnels for their trainings or indoctrinations of young orphan children that they would steal, or new trainees. They would go in there to just try to just destroy the mind, interrogations, or all these other evil purposes that are happening inside those tunnels. And so, with that backstory, going back to here, I remember my brother telling me these stories, and he told me, he was just like, this is your first mission. Now you're going to have to go inside that tunnel. Really? It's like, but, kind of really hesitant to go in there. He's just like, it's your first mission, go in there. So he said, before you go in there, though, your sword is too big to be able to be used inside the tunnels. You have to go in with your knives. So, one thing you always do, leave your sword at the entrance of the cave to mark, as a marking to show your other squad mates if you have reinforcements or you have friends come about. They're trying to find you. They'll know which tunnel you went into, and they can follow suit from there. So, from there, I put my sword down and I hopped in there, and I would have to say I'm a pretty big dude. I'm 6 something. I'm 6 at the time. I probably would have been 6'1" maybe. But when I went in there, the tunnel entrance above was actually a couple feet above me.
Hey, it's me, your dry skin. We go through a lot every day, and lose ceramides, my barrier need.
So I looked inside of there, and it looked like the tunnel went up into the mountain, but it was collapsed. It was caved off a few feet in. So my brother and my uncle pulled me back out, and we followed where the tunnel went, where the tunnel followed. So we kept walking 30 feet down the line. You see another hole right there. And then we go another 10 feet, 20 feet. There's another giant hole that's right there. And these holes went all the way up into the mountain, right next to where the homestead was. And up at the top of the homestead, that's where the tunnels ended. So right here is one of the bigger ones right here. Well, those are the ones that we had, just lead up that way. These ones continue up this way. That's where the tunnels ended. And when you look at the ending of the tunnels, you see a bunch of burnt trees around, like they were all hit with lightning. Now, something my brother told me was, this tunnel that's right here is an old tunnel that the Yanagloshis used to use a long time ago. But now it's abandoned. It was chased out. And in the story he told me that good and evil were at odds with each other spiritually a while ago. And that was a site of one of the battles that happened there, was when good went into the tunnels and chased out the skinwalkers, but the good spirits that were there had help from the thunder beings. Thunder beings were tossing down lightning bolts at them, making the tunnels collapse. So it was kind of a collapse that chased the skinwalkers out of the tunnel, driving them to the mountain to where the thunder beings had a good clear shot of the skinwalkers right there. went up to the top of the mountain, they just let loose their lightning bolts and just lit them up. And unfortunately, some of the trees were hit during the scuffle, during the battle, and we were actually able to find some of their old relic weapons there. And when spiritual objects cross over into the physical world, what we've come to find out is they turn to stone. Some of their bone daggers or bone knives that they had turned into stone. And it looked pretty trippy to be able to see like a stone carved out into a knife, but it still had like some of the bone fragments on there. It was very wild. But with this story, it was really interesting to see that a lot of our creation stories that we have and a lot of our other stories that we grew up on, you can go to these sites on where these battles happened. You can go to where the monsters ran around and carved out the land from their massive scale battles that they used to have a long time ago. And that's something that I really feel is very interesting, is because, you know, you can walk on history and you can see where all this stuff came from. So this right here is another one of the many stories that I had of interacting with, you know, the darker beings, or seeing like the aftermath of where they come from, how they get about and everything. So this is just one story that I have of skinwalker interactions in my times. This is the very first one I've actually ever had. And there's many more to come, many other stories that I have from my interactions and my adventures with my brother as well. And so just be careful out there, everybody, especially for those of you on the reservations out there. You know, be careful of tunnels, be careful of dark holes that you see out there, and, you know, don't be jumping in them. If you see one open up or not, definitely a lot of creepy things in there. And, you know, just stay safe out there, everybody, and always beware. Don't be mentioning the Anagloshi unless you know how to handle them. Oh, now I'm going to. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. See you later.